2003 football team was extremely talented.
They brought football back to Muscatine.
They had speed.
They were unstoppable.
They had heart.
All had the best offensive and defensive lines in mock conference. They never gave up.
They were a brotherhood.
The 2003 football team. What was so special about these guys anyway?
As far as going into the playoffs and everything, 2003 has got to be the most special year in Muscatine High School football. It was an awesome experience. It was great for me. I just can't imagine what it was for the kids. As long and as hard as those kids worked to make MHS football something special. It had to be a monumental, just wonderful experience for those kids. I know it was for me, and I was just there reporting it.
The 2003 team was successful because of the depth of talent we had. We had quality quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, and most importantly, the offensive and defensive line. Not only did we have good players that started, we also had quality depth behind them, which proved valuable during the course of the season. Somebody got hurt, somebody else just stepped in and took over.
Salzburger kid had some great games. Michael Maine, some wonderful receiving performance. The two Frere boys, were outstanding. They had a lot of good moments. There was just so many kids on there. To say one had a better game than anybody else. You talk about team performance. That's the epitome of a successful football program. And I think throughout the whole year, I think it was just a team MVP. Andrew Durham came in, and when Zach got hurt in that first Bettendorf game, he came in and led us to what looked like was going to be a win over Bettendorf that year, or in that game. And so he was the MVP of that game, I think. Michael Maine had some huge receiving games. Nick Frere, once again, he was just a terror on defense, not to mention, he was a great running back as well. Salzburger had some wonderful games, both offensively and defensively as a defensive back. Once again, I just think it was a team effort all the way, a team MVP.
I think we were so successful just because due to the fact that everybody on the team loved hanging out with each other off the field, and we had such great passion for the game, and we always wanted to be in the weight room, break down film, whatever we could do to get better. We were always wanting to do that and take Muscatine to the next level. We all wanted to be with each other and just put as much time and effort as we could to put Muscatine on the map.
The team was
had a lot of good players, so that you didn't have to rely on the same people to make plays every single game. So if somebody was having an off game, there were plenty of guys that could make up for it. Then I think the second thing is that was one of the best offensive and defensive lines Muscatine has had in the 10 years I've been here. And that's so critical in all football, and especially high school football, when you have big kids, when you have good linemen. I think by far the defensive and offensive line was the best strength of those teams.
The best experience, I'd say scoring the game-winning touchdown was probably a minute left against Bettendorf to take us to the Dome, and just seeing all their fans leave. And that was the first time Muscatine had beaten Bettendorf at Bettendorf in a long time. I think it was like 15 to 20 years, somewhere in that range. And it was just great.
I mean, it's so rare that we beat those guys in football, and to beat them in the playoffs in their home space, at their home field that was an amazing feeling. I know that was a high for everybody.
Bettendorf. I mean, Bettendorf has always been, the elite program in the MAC, and for us to beat them, to qualify for the tournament or the appearance at the Dome, that was just a special moment for me, and that's the one that really sticks out in my mind.
Favorite memory was running out of the Dome, furthest Muscatine has ever gone, and seeing the right side. I always remember looking at the right side and seeing Muscatine all stand up and cheer on their team, and I looked to the left and their team wasn't as filled in the crowd, and it was just great passion that brought Muscatine together, and everyone was followed that year. And I'd say that'd be the greatest memory that